Teach an old dog new tricks.com. More than 40 hours of free computer training. Sit, stay, and learn. Thank you. Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Holowitz and thank you for being here for this PowerPoint presentation. In this presentation, we are going to talk about adding new slides to our presentation. Our focus before this presentation, or this tutorial I should say, was on working on one slide, doing some different things with animation, transitions, and design, and inserting different stuff. But now let's assume we're sort of past that point, and now we want to start adding more than just one simple slide. Let's talk about how you do that. First of all, if I come up here and click on this drop down where it says New Slide, I have some options. But if I want to add just one quick slide, I can just click right here and click on New Slide. That slide will retain our look, but what I want you to observe over here is that in the middle of it, we have some options here. If you put your pointer over these options, it says Insert Table, Insert Chart, Insert Smart Graphic, Media, Clip Art, or pictures. So it's giving you a real simple way to insert something. So let's just click on the picture item and you'll see I'm going to choose Thomas Jefferson again and go Insert, and there we go, we've inserted it. So it just gives you some ways to quickly insert. It's a little bit of a guide. Another way you can add this is if you click on the drop down, there are different types of slides you can add. Now I got to be honest, I'm not a slide type expert. But having said that, our basic slide that we used in our opening PowerPoint presentation is this. It's called the title slide. So if I click on that, it takes us to this. And the way I know it's what we used before is basically we have a spot for our title and a spot for our subtitle. That's what I used in the opening. Again, it didn't have the background because what it's doing, it's remembering the design we used originally and flowing through with that. If I click on the new slide here, I can do a blank slide with nothing in it. So what I'd be forced to do here is add text boxes. New slides, again, we have different ones. We have what are called content with caption, picture with caption, and different options for slides. So these are some of the ways you can add slides. Let me do one more. Let's say for the sake of our discussion, you really like this slide right here. And notice I'm looking at this slide over here in the preview area. When I click on this slide, I can right click and I can go copy. I could also have done Control C, the keyboard shortcut. I'm going to come down here at the bottom and I clicked at the bottom of this slide to give me the blinking cursor. I'm going to paste this once, but I'm going to do it with the keyboard shortcut Control and then V as in Victor. So I paste it once. If I hit V a second time, I can paste it again and again and again, and I can add a bunch of them. So when you're working in PowerPoint, a lot of times once you get a slide or a look or feel you like, then what occurs is you might decide, hey, you know what? Let me just copy that one. And then at that point, all I have to do is go in and change the content or the text in here. So let's say, in this one, I want to talk about Microsoft Word. I just type in Word. Maybe on this one over here, I want to talk about Excel. Well, I can just highlight that and type in Excel and so forth. So to add a new slide is really easy. And when you're working with slides in your PowerPoint presentation, I usually recommend you're going to start to see a trend developing where you have one slide that's sort of one format. You have another slide that has maybe a little more content. And a lot of times just copying the slides that you've already used is the easiest way. So, you know, you'll see this developing. You might find that almost every slide falls into a few different looks or feels, and once you've created the first slide with that look, you can use it again. Maybe you create a second slide with a slightly different look or feel. You can use that one again just by copying it. So as you develop your skills in PowerPoint, now you move on to developing the slides and adding content and trying to get through the flow of information. Just for the sake of it, I'm going to go up to Slideshow and I'm going to go from beginning. And next, this is our first slide. I'm going to use the right arrow key on my keyboard and I'm just working through this. And you're going to see as we go through this, we go on to our next slides. Now a lot of them have nothing in it, but it's just examples of the way we can work with this, and a lot of them are copies. I'm going to stop there because I think I've made my point, but adding a slide is very easy. So if you have any questions, again, I always tell people don't hesitate to reach out to me via my website, either tonytheteacher.com or teachanolddognewtricks.com. Reach out to me if you have something I haven't addressed here. I always love suggestions on tutorials. My name is Tony Holowitz. Thank you very much. Have a great day.